Alright, so up above you can see two equations, both of which you're going to have to need to know. So my suggestion is to start writing them down as much as possible. So when you do a problem, I would write them down as in their general form first, and then actually input numbers. So the midpoint formula, which is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2, really just says add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. It's really the average of the points, if you want to think of it that way. Sometimes the numbers work out nicely, sometimes you get decimals. It just kind of depends on how it all works out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add the x's. In this case we have negative 2 and 3. So what we're going to do is take negative 2 and add 3 to it, divide by 2, and then you add the y's, so 5 plus 0. Now these, it's going to be a coordinate, right? A midpoint, it's a point, it's a coordinate, so it's going to be an x comma y. So we get 1/2 for our x, and we get 5/2 for our y. I'd prefer to see you just leave it as fractions. It's either going to be a whole number or something over 2. So there we go. This is a little more complicated, but still not too bad. Basically, it's a big square root, and what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the x's and then subtract the y's, and in each case you're going to square it. Now it does not matter which x comes first. It doesn't matter the order. It doesn't matter how you do it at all. Just subtract 2 x's, square that answer. Subtract the y's, square that answer. That's all that matters. Okay? Okay, here we go. X's, negative 2 and 3. So I'm going to do negative 2 minus 3 squared plus y's. You're going to do 5 minus 0 squared. Again, the order doesn't matter. The one thing, be careful, we didn't have it here, but if you subtract a negative, that ends up being a positive, a plus. So negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Notice I'm putting negative 5 in parentheses, because when I square it, eventually it's just going to be a positive number. Negative 5 squared is 25, plus another 25, you get 50, square root of 50. But we know we can't leave radicals, we got to break it down. So remember, we get 5 and 10, 5 and 2, we get a pair of 5s, that comes out, and the 2 stays in, 5 root 2. Now that's an exact answer. Usually I'm going to ask for exact, which means you need a simplified answer, just in a radical. But sometimes I might say, give me the approximate answer, which means you're going to go to your calculator and you're going to do square root of 50, and I'm going to get, with 2 decimals, I'm going to get 7.07. 7.07 is your approximate answer. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to look at the next problem. Next problem says M is the midpoint of AB. If the coordinates of A are negative 2, 4, and the coordinates of M is 7, 2, negative 2, what are the coordinates of the other point? So this is a little tricky. There's actually 2 ways to do this. So option 1 and option 2. I'm going to show you 2 ways. Option 1 is by actually using the midpoint formula. Remember, midpoint is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Now this problem's tricky for the following reason. M is the midpoint. I was given the values for M. So like the x value of the midpoint is 7. 7 is going to equal the other 2 x's. But remember, I was given one of the x's. So I was given negative 2. I'm trying to find the x on the other coordinate. And then the same thing for y's. I was given the midpoint y value as negative 2. And then I was told that I have a y value of 4. If I solve this, I multiply both sides by 2. I get 14 equals negative 2 plus x. So I get x equals 16. And then if I multiply the other by 2 as well, I get negative 4 equals 4 plus y. I get y equals negative 8. So my coordinate of the midpoint is really 16 comma negative 8. Okay, now I wouldn't suggest doing it that way. Here's the way I would suggest doing it. Point A is negative 2, 4. the midpoint is 7, negative 2. And I want to know point B. Watch this. The x values increase by 9 as we go to the midpoint. So what's going to happen as we go to the b value? It's going to increase by 9 as well. So my x value is going to be 7 plus 9, which is really 16. The y values go from 4 to negative 2, which is a subtraction of 6. So there's going to be another subtraction of 6. And if we go negative 2 minus 6 more, you get negative 8. Same coordinate both ways.